And welcome to Williams-Brice Stadium for the post-game show. Tonight, the South Carolina Gamecocks coming off a very disappointing and embarrassing loss to Texas A&M last week. Had something to prove this week. Gamecock fans were wondering, what kind of team do the Gamecocks have? Gamecocks were in danger of going 0-2 with Georgia coming to town next week, and that would have been devastating for hopes of any kind of successful season. But the Gamecocks worked hard this week in practice and were able to come away with a hard-fought 33-23 win over a very scrappy and talented East Carolina team. Did not start out well tonight. South Carolina wanted to establish the run early in the game, and they did. They ran it 3 straight times and got a 3-and-out and had to punt. And quickly down the field came East Carolina. It looked like a replay starting the game of last week's game as East Carolina was able to take the ball at will down the field, but the Gamecocks were able to force an early field goal and fell behind 3-0. South Carolina's second possession, not a good one either, as they ran the ball twice and then a pass was tipped off the receiver's hands and intercepted for East Carolina. They were able to come down. The defense stiffened a little bit and only gave up another field goal, and South Carolina trailed 6-0. South Carolina was able to get on the board with a touchdown after that and did not have to punt, except for the first possession of the night, as their offense moved the ball well tonight, and South Carolina accumulated 76 plays for 441 yards. Their first touchdown of the evening came on a Mike Davis 36-yard run, but he was the first one to admit and tell you what a great job Shaq Rowland, his wide receiver, did, busting his tail, getting downfield, throwing numerous blocks for him that got him in the end zone. The Gamecocks' lead was a short lead as East Carolina was able to fight back, take the lead again on another nice drive, and it was a 10-yard run that got them the lead back, though. But South Carolina was able to take control of the game after that to get a lead, and it was never really a safe lead. The Gamecocks led by as many as 2 touchdowns at one point, though, but East Carolina was able to come back with a touchdown to cut the lead to 7 in the fourth quarter, and then the drive of the game for the Gamecocks, as the Gamecocks had the ball for 10 minutes and 33 seconds on offense in the fourth quarter and pounded the ball down the field, playing ball control offense, and would not give East Carolina the ball back. South Carolina ended up kicking a short field goal, Elliott Fry's field goal, I believe his 4th of the night, from 20 yards, and South Carolina was back to a 2-score lead and were able to ice the game and defensively hold over the last 2 minutes of the game to come away with a 33-23 win. Statistically tonight, the Gamecocks had the ball for almost 37 minutes. As a matter of fact, it was 36 minutes and 19 seconds, and that was a big key because East Carolina only had the ball 23 minutes and 41 seconds. South Carolina was able to play keep away again in the fourth quarter and not let that highly talented, potent offense of East Carolina on the field. Again, South Carolina had trouble on defense again tonight, stopping the passing game of East Carolina, but were able to come up with 2 key interceptions and a blocked field goal, which all led to points tonight, though, and that was big in the win. Again, improvement was seen tonight. South Carolina was able to put some pressure on the East Carolina quarterback, something they were unable to do last week against Texas A&M. Yes, the defense was better. No, they're not where they need to be yet. And Lorenzo Ward was the first one to admit that they left some plays on the field during the game, that there's still some areas they're going to have to get better at. Well, next week, for the first time this year, they're going to see an entirely different offense. They have played a highly potent passing offense. Well, they get to see Gurley come to town next week. The Georgia Gurley show comes to town with all of his other stable of running backs, and we'll see an entirely different type of offense. It's going to be run-oriented with a quarterback who wants to manage the game and make enough plays not to hurt his team, though. Is South Carolina up for the task? We will find out. The Gamecocks are 1-1 on the year now, and again, huge game. Georgia will come in after a week off. They had a week to watch South Carolina play. That can be good. That can be bad. They played one game and then take a week off. It gives you a chance to get stale again. You had a warm and fuzzy feeling if you're Georgia last week after a big win over Clemson, though, but how good is your team? And that's a question right now that you've been practicing and you had to play yourself in week 2. And sometimes from a coaching standpoint, it's better if you have a game like South Carolina had tonight where you got to scratch and claw and fight and keep that momentum going. We'll see if it pays off next week. Mike Davis tonight had 18 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brandon Wiles pitched in with 14 carries, 53 yards. Dylan Thompson was sharp passing the ball tonight, 25 of 38 for 266 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, and he had several drop passes too. Coach Spurrier said, you know, you're not going to get the ball in your hands every time wide open, that he challenged the receivers to step up and make some plays, that they've had some balls hit in their hands and were knocked out and jarred out, that he would like to see them improve in that area right now. South Carolina on the positive side only had to punt the ball once tonight, and that was for 53 yards, and the kicking game looked good too, as Elliott Fry was good on all of his field goal attempts. The bottom line is, you can put the ribbon on it tonight. South Carolina comes away with their first win of the year. It's Coach Spurrier's 200th win as an SEC coach. And, again, he said he's just happy to have a win and not be 0-2 going to the Georgia game. He said when he retires, he'll look back on these monumental wins after he's sitting back in his rocking chair, though. But for Gamecock fans, it's good news tonight. The Gamecocks beat a quality opponent. Coach Spurrier said after the game that he would not be surprised to see East Carolina win 10 games again this year. I was very impressed with their quarterback. They've got some talented receivers, and I think they've got a chance to do some good things this year. They're a good football team, and they are very skilled on the offensive end. They play hard, too. You got to give them credit for that, though. So I'm the coach, Dick Cox, from Williams-Brice Stadium tonight. Wrapping things up, though, Gamecock fans can have a little bit easier week than you had last week, because I know it was a miserable week after an embarrassing whipping against Texas A&M. Well, we get back on the winning track for Gamecock fans. You can be happy, and you can talk junk. The Georgia Bulldogs are coming to town next Saturday. I know this place will be rocking. It should be a good ball game. This is going to be a key game for the SEC East. Pretty much a must-win for the Gamecocks. With one SEC loss already, they can't afford to be 2 games behind Georgia and give Georgia the tiebreaker too, though. That's going to wrap it up from Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm about to get blown away by the lawnmower on the field right now. You can hear it in the background. If you see my hair start to blow, you know that thing's strong, because there's not very many of them on my head to blow. But here comes the breeze right now that I'm starting to blow a little bit in the breeze, and I can see a couple of little twigs starting to move on top, though. I'm the coach, Dick Cox. Hope you have a good weekend. Reporting for Cox Sports Broadcasting, I am the coach. We'll see you later, everybody. Good night.